1990 Donruss baseball cards, 25 most valuable. Almost from the moment the very first collector cracked open the very first wax pack of the 1990 Donruss baseball cards, the reaction was something along the lines of, "Is this some sort of joke?" That or a rolling stomach, or hands clasped over the mouth, or just a disgusted head shake. What the heck was Donruss thinking? Bloody red borders, complete with speckles of what? Paint droppings? Bird droppings? Ugh. About the best we could say was that the cards had some sort of flair that only Donruss could roll out, and definitely not in a good way. Add in the fact that these cards flooded the market like every other base set in the junk wax era, and you have the makings of a distinctly unvaluable run of cards all these years later. But well, there are some interesting cards in the set, including some solid Rickey cards and some unusual and collectible errors and variations. And the red borders actually present some condition challenges, to the point that the most common condition returned from PSA's grading services, according to their population report, is a mere PSA 8, and that's near mint rating, in case you were wondering. So while 1990 Donruss baseball cards are certainly not the most popular in the hobby, they have their merits, and plenty of collectors still seek them out and pay decent money for them. So what follows then is a list of the most valuable 1990 Donruss baseball cards by measure of actual selling prices for copies slabbed in PSA 8, as reported in the PSA Auction Prices Realize tool. Number 25. 1990 Donruss Tony Gwynn, number 86. In 1989, Tony Gwynn had won his third straight National League batting title, hitting .336 for the San Diego Padres. It would be his last hitting crown until he made a run at .400 during the strike-shortened 1994 season. So in a way, this 1990 Donruss card represents the intermission, the seventh inning stretch, if you will, of Gwynn's storied Hall of Fame career. Definitely worth the leadoff spot in this list. Value $2 to $4. Number 24. 1990 Donruss Randy Johnson, number 379. The Montreal Expos traded Randy Johnson to the Seattle Mariners in May of 1989 in exchange for Mark Langston. Sure, Gene Harris, Brian Holman, and Mike Campbell were involved, but this one went down as a Johnson for Langston trade. And mostly as the trade that turned Randy Johnson's career around. Before he came to Seattle, Johnson was a towering blur of elbows and knees on the mound, with all sorts of promise, but also with frightening control. After, well, still some of the same, but he also became one of the greatest left-handers of all time and an ace of aces in his generation. This red menace of a card was the big unit's first base Donruss issue, showing him with the Mariners, so it's historical. In a hobby sort of way, at least. Value $2 to $4. Number 23. 1990 Donruss Nolan Ryan, King of Kings, correct back, number 665. Nolan Ryan spent 1989 proving to the Texas Rangers that they made a wise investment in signing him to a free agent contract the previous December. After notching his 6th no-hitter and 5,000th strikeout, the Ryan Express had ascended from a mere baseball superstar to elder statesman, winding down a stellar career in his home state to an outright diamond legend, and the hottest thing the baseball had seen since Mickey Mantle himself. Donruss read the signals perfectly and dropped in plenty of Ryan in 1990, including this extra Diamond Kings entry in the back of the set. Religious connotations aside, this King of Kings entry also contributed to the era card mania that proliferated through the late 1980s and 1990s, as we'll see later in this list. This Ryan card, though, is just as Donruss had intended, and it's a hobby winner. Value $3 to $5. Number 22. 1990 Donruss David Justice Rookie card, number 704. David Justice had just about everything the hobby demanded from a big-time rookie when he made his first splash in the summer of 1990. He was youngish, he was good-looking, and he played for a team with a national profile and fan base, and he hit for big power. Ding ding! That's a winner in collecting circles, no matter how you slice it. And though his movie star profile may have rankled some, Justice spoke loudest with his bat. The same one that cracked 28 home runs on his way to the 1990 National League Rookie of the Year award. And all summer long, collectors could chase his 1990 Donruss rookie card in live wax packs. Not surprisingly, some of the hobby swagger remains. Value $3 to $5. Number 21. 1990 Donruss Rickey Henderson, number 304. After more than 4 years of parading his special brand of hot dog in the Bronx, Rickey Henderson came back to the Oakland A's in the summer of 1989 trade. That dropped him right into the noise and fury of the Bash Brothers run and set him up to help Mark McGwire, Jose Canseco, Dennis Eckersley, and the rest win their only World Series together. It also set up Henderson to break Lou Brock's all-time stolen base record, top 1,000 stolen bases, and take aim at any number of other stolen bases records while wearing gold and green. Oh, and along the way, he also posted maybe his greatest all-around season on his way to Cooperstown, copying American League MVP honors in 1990. This 1990 Donruss Rickey was there for the whole show. Value $3 to $5. Number 20. 1990 Donruss Larry Walker, rookie card, number 578. Larry Walker's trek to the Hall of Fame was more of a slow burn than a streak-across-the-sky rocket ride, and the early returns didn't look all that promising. He hit 170 and a cup of coffee with the Expos in 1989, then just 241 as a rookie in 1990 after all. That later mark was accomplished by 19 home runs and 21 stolen bases, though enough to just at least make collectors mark his 1990 Donruss rookie card as one to keep tabs on down the line. More than 30 years on, of course, Walker has his plaque, and this card is one of the best in an overall junk waxy set. Value $3 to $5. Number 19. 1990 Donruss Sammy Sosa rookie card, number 489. Sammy Sosa is hardly recognizable on his 1990 Donruss rookie card, standing there as a skinny young dude wearing Chicago White Sox studs and holding his bat sort of awkwardly. Truth is, Sammy was being touted in some circles as a guy with plenty of toolsy potential, with power and speed that might play well in the majors. Someday. Those skills manifested pretty well through the middle of the 1990s, including a trade to the Cubs. But all that was swallowed up in the summer of 1998 as Sammy joined Mark McGwire in the chase to dethrone Roger Maris. Sosa's run of 60-homer season is still amazing to consider, even though he subsequently fell from grace. Hard. There is still plenty of hobby love for Sammy, and his rookie card still holds sway in whatever set it appears. Value $3 to $5. Number 18. 1990 Donruss Nolan Ryan, number 166. This is just your standard run-of-the-mill card featuring a living legend in his new uniform for the first time ever in a Donruss base set. Ryan's cards were on fire in the early 1990s, and that went double for cards showing him with the Rangers. The fact that 1990 Donruss cards look like they're actually on fire does little to change that fact. Value $4 to $5. Number 17. 1990 Donruss Deion Sanders rookie card, number 427. Neon Deion Sanders was the flashier, mouthier counterpart to Bo Jackson, part of a new generation of high-profile athletes who wanted to have it all, or at least two parts of all. So Sanders embarked on a dual career in both Major League Baseball and the NFL. Neon may not have been quite as tantalizing as Bo when it came to his baseball ceiling, but he managed to stay healthy, maintain jobs in both sports for nearly a decade, and make it all the way to the Football Hall of Fame in Canton. Though Sanders' rookie cards never break the bank, they maintain a strong standing in the hobby all these years later. Value $4 to $6. Number 16. 1990 Donruss Bo Jackson Diamond King, number 1. Bo Jackson was the most exciting athlete most folks had never seen, and he seemed like he might achieve and maintain superstar status in both Major League Baseball and the NFL for decades to come. After smashing 32 home runs and landing his first All-Star berth for the Kansas City Royals in 1989, Jackson looked right at home in this Dick Pettis rendering to lead off the 1990 Donruss set. Of course, a hip injury suffered on the gridiron early in 1991 would change the course of his careers and his life, but collectors still love Bo Jackson cards. Value $4 to $6. Number 15. 1990 Donruss Ken Griffey Jr. Diamond King, number 4. Though Ken Griffey Jr. managed just 16 home runs and 16 stolen bases in his 1989 debut, finishing third in the American League Rookie of the Year voting, he was still viewed by most fans, pundits, and collectors as the most exciting and promising young talent in the game. The next 10 years would bear out that assessment as Jr. established himself as one of a handful of the greatest players in Major League Baseball, inserting himself into conversations that featured terms like the greatest ever. A hobby star from the beginning, Griffey lights up whatever sets he's in, and his first Diamond Kings card is a favorite, even in a non-favorite set. Value $5 to $8. Number 14. 1990 Donruss Juan Gonzalez, rated rookie, number 33. It took Juan Gonzalez a while to get warmed up to the major leagues, and some of his early exploits got it swallowed up by the Nolan Ryan glare. But his 27 home runs and 102 RBI at age 21 in 1991 served notice of what was to come. Those big power numbers also got Juan Gon's rookie cards revving in the hobby, and they would continue to perk as he developed into a perennial 50-homer threat. 2 MVP awards by the time he was 29 had Gonzalez looking like a Hall of Famer, but a rapid post-30 decline put the kibosh on those ideas. Still, Gonzalez and his big bat carry some hobby weight all these years later. Value $5 to $10. Number 13. 1990 Donruss 5,000 Ks, correct back, number 559. When Ryan notched his 5,000th strikeout on August 22, 1989, he did so in dramatic fashion, setting down Rickey Henderson. Ryan also established a new milestone that no one else had ever breached, and he added 700 plus more before all was said and done. And he set up the card makers to celebrate the milestone. Donruss used this slot for their tribute, yet another Ryan entry in the 1990 list of collector's favorites. Value $5 to $10. Number 12. 1990 Donruss Bo Jackson, number 61. Like Ryan, just about every Bo card stood and remains among the most popular and valuable cards in whichever set they appear. This base 1990 Donruss is no exception, and though the red borders do little to complement all the royal blue, at least we're treated to a shot of Bo himself, coiled and ready to spring on a pitch. Value $5 to $10. Number 11. 1990 Donruss Ken Griffey Jr., number 365. Griffey was already a hobby darling by the time 1990 Donruss cards made their debut, having helped springboard 1989 Upper Deck to stardom among collectors as their set de facto poster boy. And of course, Jr. had that family pedigree and unworldly talent to carry him in any set, even if he appears slightly unsure of himself or his surroundings in this shot. Not a great looking card, but still an early issue of an all-time great. Value $5 to $10. Number 10. 1990 Donruss Barry Bonds, number 126. Like Griffey, Bonds arrived in the majors with the weight of the expectations that came with being the son of a big league star. Bobby's kid had a head start on Junior too, having debuted with the Pirates in 1986. In the 4 years leading up to 1990, Bonds established himself as a five-tool type who brought maybe the best well-around package of any player to the ballpark each night. Though collectors took a while to warm up to his 20-20 talents in the face of 40-homer seasons popping up across baseball, Bonds' hobby fortunes took an upward turn when he won the 1990 National League MVP award, his first of a record 7 of them. Money and power and records and scandal followed, and today we're left with a guy who once was one of the greatest hitters the game had ever seen and one of the most polarizing figures. Still, an early career Bonds card is bound to draw some attention, and this gaudy 1990 Donruss is no exception. Value $5 to $10. Number 9. 1990 Donruss Bernie Williams rookie card, number 689. In 1990, Bernie Williams was just the latest in a long line of Yankees prospects that the Bronx faithful hoped would return the Bombers to their former and rightful glory. But unlike the rest of those guys, Brian Taylor, Hensley Mullins, Al Leiter, Bernie actually stuck with the big club and made it through the lean years of the early 1990s. The reward for team player and fans was a dynastic run from 1996 through 2006 when Williams hung up his spikes. Though Bernie may never make the Hall of Fame cut, he's a Yankees legend and carries enough hobby sway even today to keep his rookie cards on lists like this one. Value $5 to $10. Number 8. 1990 Donruss Cal Ripken Jr. All-Star, error, number 676. By 1990, Cal Ripken Jr. was starting to take flack for continuing the streak in spite of his slipping performance at the plate. Take a day off now and then, critics said, and the Orioles will be all the better for it. Cal kept plugging though, even when the Orioles were bad, and even when he himself wasn't great. He kept racking up all-star appearances too, which led to this card. But while Ripken enjoyed a hobby resurgence in 1991 on the back of maybe his greatest season ever, this particular card lands on this list because of an error. And it's not that silly no period after ink variety either. As an all-star card, the back of this one shows his all-star stats. But some of the cards printed in the early run purported to show his recent major league performance. It's scarce enough, at least in junk wax terms, to land a pretty cherry spot on this list. Value $5 to $10. Number 7. 1990 Donruss Albert Belle Rookie Card, Joey, number 390. In 1990, the baseball world still knew Albert Belle as Joey, even if we didn't really know him at all. At that point, Belle had yet to really show the power at or plate selection that would become his stock in trade, at least beyond his limited playing times in the minors. He was already having some off-field issues though, and began insisting that the world call him Albert. Card companies were slow on the uptake, and by the time Belle turned into a monster in the box with the Indians in the middle of the decade, we all had to settle for ogling our Joey Belle rookie cards. Those rookie cards still carry some weight and healthy prices today. Value $5 to $10. Number 6. 1990 Donruss Nolan Ryan King of Kings Wrong Back, number 559. When you jam a bunch of cards of the same player into your set and win your Donruss, the same company who rushed to the market with Bible paper mush of pulp in 1981, well, funny things can happen. Like sometimes you issue one Nolan Ryan card front with another Nolan Ryan card back. And that's what happened here, where we get the King of Kings printed with a 5,000K back. Errors and variations at their best, huh? Value $7 to $10. Number 5. 1990 Donruss Kirby Puckett All-Star, error number 683. Kirby Puckett was the spark plug that made the 1980s and 1990s Twins go, and fans and collectors alike loved the Minnesota center fielder who would eventually land in Cooperstown. Still do for the most part. But here in this wad of God set, Kirby shows up by virtue of the same error-correct all-star back combination that befell Cal Ripken. This is the correct back. This is the error back. Voila, instant hot list material. Value $8 to $12. Number 4. 1990 Donruss Mike Schmidt All-Time Great, number 643. Mike Schmidt broke a lot of baseball hearts. Well, mine at least, when he abruptly retired early in the 1989 season. He also gave the card companies plenty of time to write him out of their 1990 sets. Schmidt career cappers showing his entire amazing Major League Baseball record are few and far between. This Donruss special qualifies though, so it's little wonder it shows up here near the top of our list. Value $8 to $12. Number 3. 1990 Donruss Nolan Ryan 5,000 Ks, King of Kings back, number 665. Not only did Donruss include lots of Nolan Ryan in their blood red 1990 set, they also gave us some variations to help fill our 9-pocket sheets. In this episode, Donruss gave us the normal 5,000 Ks front, but slapped the Kings of Kings card back on the back. Fun and games and higher prices ensued. Value $10 to $15. Number 2. 1990 Donruss Juan Gonzalez rated rookie reverse negative, number 33. If Gonzalez had sustained his Hall of Fame pace, or had 1990 Donruss been produced in lesser quantities than Indiana produces corn, this card might belong on the list of the most valuable cards of the entire decade of the 1990s. As things stand though, this reverse negative card is instantly recognizable and a hobby classic, even if it doesn't break the bank and won't fund your trip to the Bahamas, or even your local Walmart. Value $15 to $30. Number 1. 1990 Donruss Nolan Ryan King of Kings, no number, number NNO. Of all the cards to gaff on, or to introduce a variation for, you'd think Donruss would have been extra careful to make sure that it didn't happen again on this extra special Nolan Ryan card, right? Right, unless you're some sort of conspiracy theorist or something. Still, Donruss did indeed issue some of the Ryan King of King cards with no card number, setting it up to be the most valuable thing in the entire set more than 30 years later. Value $35 to $50. Wax Pack Gods